Okay, now we're live. Hey guys, hey everybody. I'm just going to do a little quick summary from today. I do have. Okay, now we're live. I do have the live chat. Ooh,
hey guys, hey everybody. I'm just going to do a quick summary.
Yeah, that's you.
Well, that was a new mistake. Anyway, I do have the live chat going, and I guess try and keep an eye on it, and I'm sure me and Sean will keep an eye on it. But I just kind of want to summarize the events of the day and show you guys some things with the hash codes that I've mentioned. I realize now that not everybody is familiar with SHA hash codes, so just kind of talk about what those are real quick, and show you guys also something that's maybe more intuitive, which is like a tool that you can use to visually compare image files and see if there's actually any pixel differences. And we'll go from there. And Sean's on board. And,
hello.
And if anybody else wants to jump in, I'll shoot them a link. But at the moment, let's do this real quick. Let me share my screen first. All right. So I created this little drive folder out there. I'll link it in the description after the fact. But this little drive folder has the image that I sent to Globebusters. It also has the image that Sean included in his little archive today. The original image obviously is not in here because it has privacy data in it. There's this little spreadsheet in here, and this spreadsheet has SHA hash codes for the different files. Want the original file, which I've obviously not put in here, but this is a easy way for you to see if you have the original file, the one that's sent to Globebusters, and the one that Sean included in his archive. And these all have different SHA codes, and what a SHA code is basically just a way to identify a file. You can think of it as a name for a file. That's really the easiest way. It's a unique name for a specific file. And these are used all the time on the internet to verify downloads. So you'll get a download and you can verify that you actually got the uncorrupted download and then the original file, like by running this little SHA check on it. And whenever you run this algorithm, it spits out this number. And if your number matches that number, then you know you have that file.
Basically, a SHA code is the modern times version of checksum.
That's exactly what it is. Yep. So I know a lot of people probably won't be familiar with that, but let's just leave it at that is how downloads work these days. That's how they verify downloads have downloaded correctly with these little checksums, these little SHA code checksums. But I had this little sheet here with the different files and their hash codes, and the reason I put the original one in there is so that if you actually have a file that someone's given you and it has this hash code, then you know that there's privacy data in it that you should not share. So please don't share that file.
On the other side, if that hash code shows up, that is an original, totally unaltered file.
That's correct. So what I have done is also linked some stuff in the README file that's also in that directory. And like I said, I will put this in the description. I'll link to this folder in the description as soon at first chance I have. Kind of talks about SHA codes and how to generate them on different machines, the Mac and Windows-based machines. The Mac one you can actually use for Linux-based machines or Unix-based machines as well. And what a SHA code is. And then also this nifty little tool. There's this package out there called Image Magic, which provides a lot of command line tools for working with images. And there's this nifty tool called Compare that they provide, which lets you visually compare two different images. So that's what I'm going to do here right now, I think, if I figure out where I'm at.
You're right there in front of your computer.
There I am. So what I've done here is I've brought all three files, the original file, the one that Sean has provided in his archive, and the one that I sent to Globebusters. and I've created one that I've put some modifications in so that we can actually see what it looks like with the visual compare tool. And you can see this file looks just like all the rest of the files. It even has this little lens defect or probably some dust on my sensor that all the other files have.
You know, I never noticed that.
Never noticed that dust?
No, I've never noticed that. I'm going to check it. just because I've never seen it.
Yep, so
sure enough, it's there.
It's the original. Yeah, so what I did was I took the original and I actually modified it. I did exactly, you know, I put a modification in here to actually show you what to expect if this file is modified. And you can compare it to the originals. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to run this compare tool, and I'm going to compare Sean's, which is this one, with the original. So that's the original. And you put compose. And let's see, Sean original. Oh, actually, compose source. So you can look up how this command works if you want to. If you really want to get into this and verify that the file that you have hasn't been manipulated, you can compare it to the original file. And what I'm doing here is showing you that Sean's file and the original file, I'm doing a visual comparison between Sean's file and the original file. And if there's any differences, then you would see red. And there's no red. This means that they're exactly the same.
Imagine that. So
these images are exactly the same. And so now we're going to do the same process. This time we're going to compare the Globebusters file that I sent.
So let me see if I can figure out what this is doing without knowing what the program actually does. Is it creating a negative of the second, or of the, it's creating a negative image of one of the other, then it's just overlaying both on top of each other and looking for differences? It's
looking for differences in pixels, yeah. And it'll pull out the differences in pixels and it'll like highlight them in red.
Right.
And you'll see as soon as I get to the bottom here. So I'm showing right now that I'm comparing the Globebusters one versus the original image that actually came off the camera. So let's look at that one too. And it'll make sense once we get to the end. Maybe I should have started at the end. I don't know. Maybe I should have started with the modified one first so you could see what we should expect. That's the Globebusters image that I sent. And oh, I called it Sean Original again.
Right.
Well, let me change this to actually let me run the Sean versus Original again, because I'm going to put these in the drive once I'm done with this. All right, so that recreated the Sean versus Original, and now we're going to create the one that was sent to Globebusters versus Original.
You still made a mistake.
Oh, right.
You're still comparing mine versus the original.
Exactly. Let me change that to Globebusters one.
See, I knew I joined for a reason.
Thank you. Sent to globebusters.jpg versus original. Okay. So let's compare that one. Oh, no changes, no difference.
Absolutely not shocking.
And now let's compare the one that I actually modified, knowingly modified, against the original. And I want to point something out. Again, I'm going to open this up so we can see it. It looks just like the rest of them. Now let's see what happens.
Don't forget to change your ending file name.
And let's see what happens whenever I do this correctly and change. So, modified versus original. Okay. Hey, look at there.
See, I would have wrote GB can suck my balls, but that's me.
I was thinking about doing that. I thought I'd try and keep it professional.
Yeah.
But so this is what you can do. If somebody sends you a file and they claim that it's our file, you can do 2 different tests now. You can test the SHA code. Is it one of the SHA codes that we've provided? No. Okay, well then it's probably not our file. Then you can run this compare tool against it and see what they did to change it. So if you have a file that doesn't match that SHA code, which I know many people do now you can call them on their bullshit by taking this command, this compare command, and comparing it against our original file and see what they did. Because there are people saying that there's files out there, and I haven't seen them yet because nobody will send me the file.
Right.
I challenge them to send me the file. Send me the file that you guys are talking about. Let me see it. Or you can do this compare right here and make a video about it and call Globebusters out yourself. So,
well, that'll never happen. Yeah,
we'll see who's honest out there, because we know based on the comment sections who has been saying that they have files. And if you're an honest person, you will run this test and you will see what they did, and then you will tell everybody about it.
Now, just for transparency, how slight were the changes in that junk picture?
All I did was open the file in GIMP and put text right here, and then whenever it recompressed it, this is what you're seeing, JPEG recompression right here. Yep. So that's all I did was write the word junk and then save the file out. Now, it might have been like saved it. You know how JPEGs have that slider bar? That it might have been some default, like 95% or something, or 85%. I don't know what it saved it at. That's all I did. Opened it up in GIMP, wrote the word junk, saved it. And here you go. Here's the difference between a saved file in an editor and the original file. And all 3 of those other files were the exact, even though they had different SHA codes because the metadata is different, they had the same exact image embedded in. And that's what I just showed you.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. No one else is either, I don't think. But anyway, that's the extent of my demonstration, and I'll just leave it open for comments, which I haven't been paying attention to, unfortunately. I've been doing a terrible job at that.
The chat's actually been kind of more or less quiet, nothing really pertinent. But as a reminder, you can find all of the totality shots with metadata altered to remove a name and a name only. The link is actually in my last video for Silent Warrior, / Anthony Riley. But the link's there. You can all grab them. You can all examine them. Have fun with them.
Yep.
But they're there for everybody to examine, and that way when Globebusters or Mike decide that they want to make alterations to them, you can compare them with the originals and see what they did.
Correct. And that's my whole point here, is just to give people the tools to know if they have one of the original files or not. And if you grab one of these, basically I just showed you. You don't even have to know how to do the SHA code thing. Just use this simple compare tool and just look back in how I did it here, and basically just compare that image, whatever image you have, with one of these original images that Sean has provided for the whole world now. And see what they did, see how they manipulated it, see what they did to change it.
Actually, 3D Crazy just said something good in the chat. You need a Globebusters modified file in order to make anything out of this. Well, we've been trying to get that file from Mike and Silent Warrior, and they won't give it to us.
The people that are claiming that there is a file have not provided the file. So this is the problem that we have. We're going to hold their feet to the fire. We're not going to. If they're claiming they have the file, that's their claim. So
Bob did admit that he sent Mike the file in my comment section. So Mike does have the file, but he won't send it back to us for some reason after we call him out on the moon only showing up in the green channel, which my Hangout proved that it's not just the green channel.
That's right.
So we'd really like to get a hold of that picture from Mike and see how Bob altered it.
There's something 3D crazy. There's something to be made of it, whether or not I have the file or not. And the something that is being made is that they're making the accusations. They are making accusations, and they need to provide whatever files they have for everybody to scrutinize. You can't just make blind accusations about people. That's called slander. That's exactly what it is. So that's what needs to happen.
Well, I'm more inclined to believe Mike than I am Bob.
Maybe Bob didn't alter it. Well, that's not what people are saying. You know, people are saying that there's a Photoshop tag in the metadata. Well, somebody altered it. Who was it?
Well, Anthony's kind of been backtracking on that one because we knew he knows we haven't busted cold hard and dead on that one. So he's now saying it's the Miles photos that's got the Photoshop tag.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Even though our entire conversation that he started was all about your photos and not the Miles photos.
They're all in there. Whether or not Globebusters wants it to be this way or not, they're all in there saying that they represent Globebusters, that they're acting like they represent Globebusters. They might not say it explicitly, but they're implicitly implying that they are, you know, Globebusters' best friends, essentially, and they know what's coming out, and they know that this is happening, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. So, you know, if Globebusters doesn't want to be associated with it, they need to stand up and say something.
Allegation of a dox attempt. Yes, Anthony did try to dox the person that owns the camera that took that photo.
Yeah, he put his name out there.
So it's not an allegation. It's actually in a comment still on that channel. So you can go check it yourself. Yes, he did try to dox somebody. That's not an allegation. He proves it himself.
Yeah, it's not an allegation. It's happened and witnessed by many people, and probably still available as evidence.
Yes, it is.
That comment is still there. He didn't delete that. I can't believe
No, he won't. He doesn't delete comments. At least not his own.
Yeah. So he isn't actively doxing somebody then.
Yes. Well, he was. Now he's trying to save face and say that it's Ranty Rant that's doing it.
If the comment's there, then it's active. If he can delete it and doesn't, then he's actively doxing somebody.
Yes. So again, Thotal 2000, you really need to fact check your stuff before you start making your allegations.
All of their weaknesses is that they never fact check their gurus. They never fact check their gurus ever. Like any accusation that's thrown out is suddenly true in their minds. They never ever get evidence.
Slander and libel do not apply in this situation because he was caught trying to do it. Nice, Jared.
Okay, well, that was his intention anyway. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to keep it short, kind of show everybody an easy way to check the files, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to provide that link. As a matter of fact, I'll do it.
Yeah, you do that link. They can all grab the pictures from mine. You can actually put the link in your description as well, just so you can all grab it in one spot.
To do what?
Put the link to the originals on my drive.
I'll put a link in the spreadsheet. So there's a spreadsheet that's linking to your originals that they can download themselves. I also have the one specific original that we're talking about, the 3659 one, in this file. And just have some other resources in here. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share this link. And anybody that wants to can come in. You can come and download it and look at it and do all the same tests that I just did. And, you know, that's as transparent as we can possibly be.
I'm actually going to grab that and try a 1 gradient color change and see if it picks it up.
Yeah, I was actually curious about what it would take to actually, you know, do
trigger is not trigger that it's not an identical photo.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty sensitive.
No, it's just like pixel sensitive, like one pixel off and it puts a red mark around it.
Well, I'm talking about just a color gradient. See if that'll pick it up.
I'm sure.
you know, changing it from one value of red to a 1 point higher value of red, see if it still picks it up or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of different options on that command. Like you could make it fuzzy so it would do a range, but if you just do it the standard way, it'll find anything that's like not pixel perfect.
Neil Helgeson asked if we were talking about photo forensics. No, we're talking about a program that's a whole lot better at examining one picture versus another.
Yeah, so the name of the whole suite, it's a pretty standard package that comes in on a lot of Unix systems. It's called Image Magic, and there's a bunch of command line tools that you can use to do all kinds of stuff, cool stuff with images and videos and stuff like that. But this particular tool is called Compare, and all it does is do a diff, a visual diff between two images. So you can take two images, throw them through this Compare, and it spits out a difference, showing you like what's different between those two images. And I just did it live, so if you want to back up, you can see how it works.
Right, it's pretty neat. And I'll be checking that out just to see how sensitive it is, actually.
And I just added the drive info to the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't have much else to say unless somebody else has a question or anything in the chat. I'll just go ahead and shut it down.
I'm not seeing any more questions. That last one about the photo forensics was the only question I've seen.
Cool. Thanks for joining me, Sean.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Have a good night.